Hello, ineffable being. How are you doing? Hope you're having a wonderful, magical day. I want to tell you that you are a genius, you are special, you mean the world, and you are loved. Ineffable family, today we are getting into the last video of this 8-part series on results of living through the heart. In this 8-episode series, I have discussed how opening myself up to this dimension of life has bettered, enhanced my health, my finances, how I am now living my dream, how my intelligence has gotten better. I touched on sexual transmutation and what that means, love and affability, and today we are getting into personal development. But before getting into today's topic, let me tell you what living through the heart means to me. I define it in two easy, simple ways to understand. It is conscious, internal activity, and it is affecting my biochemistry consciously. Why is this so important for me? Why should this incite a little bit of interest for you? Because what living through the heart means is creating the experience in your interior that will allow you to A, overcome past experiences of trauma, fear, anxieties, B, create a filter to build a mental map of the future, and C, have the energy in the present moment to do the things in your physical world that are going to result and get you closer to the life that you want. Well, today we're going to get into personal development, and this is a great way, a phenomenal way, quite frankly, to wrap up this whole series on my results of living through the heart. Why is that? Well, I just share with you what living through the heart means. So just imagine yourself starting to walk the path of having freedom from the past and the future. In this space, this magical, ineffable, loving space, you have excess energy. You don't have fears to speak and share your idea in the board meeting. You don't have the fear to turn on the camera and talk or sing or do the things today that are going to get you where you want to be tomorrow. So once you start living this path, well, you see that your chemistry, again, this biochemistry, what am I saying here? What am I saying with this? When you're happy or sad, there's a certain chemistry to your body. If you're feeling anxiety, there is a chemistry. If you're in fear, there's another chemistry. If you're happy or blissed out, those are different chemistries. So your biochemistry is essentially, let's look at your blood right now. Let's look at your chemistry. It will be in a certain way. Once the individual accepts that life experience is within and it starts learning how to affect his experience, well, things have to happen. That is the first domino, and the rest of it is personal development. Not because I am a guru, not because I say so, not because many other people say so, but it's just simple science and facts, right? We have one of the Newtonian laws of physics. We can't have change without there first being a fire. We have to have the fuel for then something to change, cause and effect. So once you ignite a conscious emotion, a feeling that you want to feel, an elevated emotion, as I call them, well, you're creating different chemistry. You're sending different signals through your body. And what happens? Your brain has to receive these chemical signals, as it's always been doing, only now you're the guide, you're the light inside, and it says, wow, I'm starting to feel better. Well, what happens? Your thoughts begin to change. Your thoughts are simply electrical signals that your brain creates, and we call these thoughts. So your chemical signals change, your electrical signals change. Remember, these are thoughts. And now what? Now you have a new base of thoughts to create new decisions on. And once you create new decisions, well, what happens? You have to create new actions. And new actions is a new experience. And the end result of every experience in our world is an emotion. So we begin to create this new cycle, a new paradigm of the person that we want to become. Now, I always like to say, and it's interesting, I read this in a meme, we aren't born, well, how does it go? We are born into this life. And we can't control how we are born into it, but we can control what we're going to do with it. So it's in my world, I look at, okay, I shouldn't want to care and be sad or be affected by the paradigm that I was born into. This is your family, these are the conditions of your life and the circumstances. We can't control that. And remember that my journey wasn't really pretty in the beginning, and it's something that I don't wish for anybody. And my purpose is to say that we don't have to go through suffering to learn. Now that's your decision if you want to suffer to then learn. But I'll tell you from my experience through child abuse, physical, emotional, psychological, sexual abuse later in my life, and not really having, a stable life, not really having loving, nurturing parents, that a child with these kind of characteristics would probably create a better environment. I didn't have these things. So what, am I supposed to just give up and say, I am this way because these things that happened to me 15 or 20 years ago? Well, I decided, as I invite you to decide today, to not let your circumstances define who you are and what you're going to be. So the reason for today's topic is to tie it all together. Personal development is growing. Tai Lopez says it so perfectly. You have an entertainment budget, don't you? Surely you have Netflix, or you have a budget to go out and get your beers or your pods or whatever it may be, right? We have our entertainment budget. Well, if your entertainment budget is bigger than your learning budget, then perhaps you should look at that. And I run with this every single day. Yes, I have Netflix. Yes, I have Spotify. And I have a couple other subscriptions. And you know what? I'm even thinking of creating a YouTube subscription because damn, are those YouTube advertising, aren't they annoying? So I have my entertainment budget, but you know what? I also have a budget for myself, for my vision, for my masterclass, Excel trainings, speech, communication, books, audiobooks, and so much more. So living through the heart did push me. The first thing that I looked at in my life was health. That's why the first topic of this episode was health. And then it was my finance. I started creating a different chemistry within myself, and my brain started showing me different ways that I can be healthy, that I can save money or spend my money elsewhere. But the fear is of change. The fear is doing something that does not have a neural circuit yet in my brain. Isn't that the fear that you have? You're not going to go and eat healthy because your food makes you happy. You're not going to go and spend your money elsewhere because where you and how you're currently spending your money, well, those neural networks, that paradigm, it's been there and it exists and it's heavy, and you are emotionally, those emotions, what to expect. If you go out to the bar, if you take girls out, if you smoke pot, if you watch movies or play video games, those neural circuits. And these aren't bad things categorically, but living through the heart is going to allow you to be comfortable in creating experiences that have yet not existed, that do not exist in your brain. And that is why living through the heart is so important, so fundamental. And beyond that, I'm not a university, I don't have a master's degree or a doctorate's degree, but I can sit here and I can stand my ground next to any doctor, any specialist in metacognition, the placebo effect, neurogenesis, neuroplasticity, epigenetics, the anatomy of the brain and the heart. I can break it down to you. I can talk to you about your immune system and how you can tweak it and why things are the way they are. Why? I haven't spent money, really 50 to upwards of $80,000 depending on the university. Why? Because I've invested in myself. Luis, why have you invested in myself? Well, because I want to be the best version of myself. Well, why do you want to do that? Because then I can grow. Once I know how my physiology and psychology works, then I can be freed from the past and don't have the anxieties and fears of the future, and I can look at myself as what I am. I am an instrument. I am a temple in the spiritual world, right? But I am a temple or a building or a spiritual being or a human being or an animal. I am simply I am the medium. What you see in front of you is the only medium that I have readily available to create the life that I want to create. And I have big dreams. I like money, I like cars, and a whole bunch of other things. And I also know what my purpose is. My purpose is to elevate the collective consciousness. So, similarly, you have goals, dreams, aspirations, but you know what? I'm not going to just give it to you. Your father isn't just going to just give it to you. Now, sure, you might have a very wealthy family that can connect you with vehicles and positions and government or economy, but at the end of the day, they're only going to give you, they're going to open the door for you, but you, it's your body, it's your brain, it's your psychology, it's your physiology that you must work with to complete anything you want. Is that not true? Looking at this very verbatim, very simply, I decided through living in my heart that I have to enhance, better, calibrate every dimension of myself. Why again? To help elevate the collective consciousness. I hope you all have enjoyed this series. I hope it's at least ignited interest into a couple topics that I've talked about. What metacognition is, placebo effect, a little bit about the brain, a little bit of consciousness. I hope I have debunked a couple of these things for you about health and finance and sexual transmutation and what love means. I hope I've pushed you or at least motivated you to take charge of your platform. Your platform is your thoughts, your emotions, your energy, and your body. And I give you sufficient enough reason to do so. It's not going to be for money. It's not going to be for fame or success. It's simply so you are your best version and you have this excess energy to create loving relationships if that's what you want, to create a raise in your job or the dream job, to win a Grammy, to make it to the NFL, whatever it may be, but it all starts within. So, Ineffable Family, I'm so glad to have shared my journey of living through the heart. And this is just the first series on this. I ask that you put down in the comments, did you receive value from this series? Did you receive insight into our world? And also put down in the comments if you did not receive any value and if this was a waste of your time. I'd also love to hear what topics you would like for me to cover in the future. I ask that you give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you so much for being on this journey with me, and I hope to see you on the side of light. Goodbye.